So, as a bit of a minor deviation, I'm listening to uh, can call it a movie or film, but certainly a drama. Yeah, I mean, might as well. Some dramas are only available through listening. Anyway, it's called Five Ratios, and it seems to me under quite a bit. Also reminds me though of look through the looking glass. Right? No, no, wait, that's no, that's visual, more visual type of distortion, I suppose. No, this no, I meant the Scanner Darkly by yeah, Philip. In terms of how it seems to test memory in this case, that was more of a blood test, but it wasn't. No, it was visual. Yeah, it was more of a you know what you see at any one time, what one's initial impression is. This, on the other hand, is more about memory and how memory seems to change upon, it seems, administration of some chemical. So, what I think is happening is confabulation. I've never read this happening with any kind of medication at all, though. So, it'd be quite novel if it did truly happen to occur, you know. Usually it happens if there is some physical damage uh, on the brain or such. I think, yeah, mostly, but not through medication as far as I know. And considering this seems to say that it has shades of science fiction. It's only shades, so it's maybe maybe it's likely not to be sort of a Skynet sort of situation or the Matrix sort of scenario, but in this context, I imagine that there might be possibly like again imagine if Carl Jung's archetypes were real and some sort of chemistry were able to access them and change subjective chemistry at the same time. That would be quite something, wouldn't it? I mean, obviously, it's certainly never have, have been reported to have happened. Anyway, Young's archetypes are just just mythology practically. But yeah, if this was so, I guess that's one way that could happen. Of course, this is not just about archetypes. Though. This is more subjective. So it's more akin to having a cloud server and chemistry that's able to access it and exchange data. If that was at all sensible. This has some interesting humor as well. Yeah, fried egg used as a bookmark. It's quite something. Uh, okay, so I finished it, and it's I didn't think it ended as well as it promised it could be. So in a way, it built up this promise and didn't really deliver that much. But because mainly I thought that the reason for all of this was so weak. I mean, what was the point of all things? It's a bit of an excuse, really. I thought that she went through this program for. Also, I have no idea why it's called five racials when there's only two. Makes no sense. Suppose there might have been another one which, no, I don't know, five. Um, well, it's um, it was still interesting, I suppose, as to what the potential is. If I mean, it's a very long way away from a point when chemistry could do such a thing. Currently neuroscience doesn't even know exactly where memories are stored. They're most likely stored widely and distributed, but so no specific place. Because of that, it's actually even more difficult to change them essentially. As this sort of found out, but I'm not sure how you'd even begin to use chemistry to do such a thing. Even I mean, theoretically, hypnosis could possibly do it, but only for susceptible people, I suppose. But theoretically, one could unconsciously make themselves forget something, I suppose. I mean, that's what um, amnesia and such are about, essentially. Like a dying guy. That's essentially what happened there. Sort of a self-defense mechanism of the mind. But yeah, um, I like the soft music that played in between certain scenes in this drama. That was mainly based around the piano, which I assume is the piano that she thought she had lessons in. Because imaginary lessons are better than none at all. Uh, and then it sometimes ended up transitioning to this electronic sort of music, which I suppose is sort of reminiscent of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep or Blade Runner. Well, the music was used in Blade Runner, not so much the book, I suppose. I like the fact that he transitioned to it. In fact, at the end, there was a scene where it literally transitioned from one to another without stopping at all, whereas before it was here and there. So they were separated. So in a way, it sort of makes sense. I suppose the fact that they shared a cigarette and when not quite shared, just you know, um, made each other think that they could have one, after which they did. That sort of indicated something, I suppose, that in this sense, I suppose, an opening up of whatever they were, just being more extroverted, essentially, in this context. Also, I just noticed that they named her Ridley, which is obviously a reference to Scott Ridley, the director of Blade Runner. So, yeah, of course, in Blade Runner, there was no chemistry that was used to play with memories or essentially make a human robot. But yeah, and, I guess this is a more subjective interpretation of such perception. It's not so much that they were robots. I mean, they still have memories, as that guy said. He saw stars and such, and but it's that's not it, is it? It's just the fact that they're essentially uh, different states. Although you could say that about everyone. I suppose that everyone is essentially different. So, what the difference between a robot and a human then? If a robot was as conscious as left up to interpretation, really. Yeah, it was interesting. I suppose this drama, I suppose, could make one think. That's yeah. So yeah.